That house was the best thing that I have ever spent money on. It was the biggest, best risk that I have taken because everything seemed like I should not buy that house. I had tons of student loan debt, car loan, I had personal loans, I had a whole bunch of credit card loans. I had over $100,000 of just debt. Everything just seemed like that was not the right move, but that was just the best thing that I did for myself. I bought this house with my little $48,000 a year in New York City. I did not have a husband or a partner that helped me to pay for the mortgage. I did it on my own. And that house has done a lot for me. And it wasn't just buying a house that was a good idea. It was specifically buying a house hack. So buying a house where I'm not paying the mortgage, my tenants are paying the mortgage. It is a 3-family building, so there are 3 different apartments in this one house. 2 of the apartments have tenants that cover the mortgage, and one of the apartments was just me living in it. I always see this argument where people say that, buying a house is a good investment. And I think that is the biggest catfish in America. Buying a house is not an investment because if you're buying a house that you can't afford, if you're buying a house where you are paying a bill every month, if you're buying a house that is stressing you out, that is not an investment. That is a bill. That is a liability. We don't want liabilities. You want to buy a house that makes your life easier. The only way to do that is to buy a house hack. Buy a house where your intention is to make money off of that house immediately. So you're going to buy a 2-family or a 3-family where the tenants are going to cover your mortgage. If not in full, a whole lot of it. Or you're going to buy a single family where okay, I'm going to rent out one of the rooms as a short-term rental, and that's going to cover my mortgage. Or you buy a single family that has a garage that you turn into a little studio. So now you can put a renter in that studio. If you are buying your first house and you are not using that house to make money, especially as a single female, if you're not using that purchase to reduce how much you need to live, then you are missing an opportunity and you are not buying an investment. You are buying another bill. If you have a budget, which I hope you do, if you just look at your biggest expense every single month, your biggest expense is probably where you live. What would it mean to you if you got rid of your biggest expense every single month? Let me know in the comments. Before I bought this house hack, I was paying $1,400 for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment in Brooklyn. So let's just say, for the sake of this example, that my landlord did not raise the rent at all in those 10 years. That would mean that 1,400 times 12 months times 10 years. Okay. I would have paid my landlord $168,000 over the course of those 10 years. Now, instead of paying my landlord, who was a very dear man, instead of paying him all that money, that house that I bought 10 years ago went up in value so much that I was able to take money out of that house and pay off my second house that I bought. And that mortgage was $130,000. And remember, I did not pay that mortgage down. My tenants did. Are y'all hearing this? That home value went up a ton, but I was not paying into that mortgage. Other people were paying that mortgage down for me. It is so important for women, especially, to have an extra chunk of money outside of your job, outside of your partner, outside just for yourself. One, if 2020 taught us anything, is that your job is not secure, honey. It is not. And so if you don't have any extra income, you are living on the edge. Second, I have a lot of friends right now that are going through divorces that are stressed about what they're going to do with money because they don't have any income coming in automatically. Whereas if you purchase and your first house that you purchase by yourself is a multi-family property, you are setting yourself up to have options. You are setting yourself up to not be caged in situations where you don't want to be, whether that be a job, whether that be a family member, whether that be a man, whether that be a partner, whatever it is. If you have a house that pays you to live, you have more options. Let me know, what is a valid reason to not buy a house hack, to not buy a multifamily as your first purchase? Let me know in the comments. If you want to know more about house hacking, make sure you check out this next video that shows you exactly how you can live mortgage free.